thinking that you want a man with money and you think that you always get a man with money. Let me explain something to you. They are much more difficult to deal with than a nigga that ain't got no money. They have options. They have options.
What about a nigga that ain't got no money but got a load of cop? There's some niggas out here paying rent with cop. There's some niggas out here paying good rent with cock and balls.
I've never really used a man for, if you be out here.
So this could have been a really good conversation. You can see it on her face at the end there. It's like, okay, listen, we can set that aside. Like, you know, you want to pay your rent that way. Fine, cool. But the difference between a man with money and a man without money is, yes, there are things now that are going to be in place that you just simply can't violate. Those are just boundaries. Men with money, with real money, real replaceable money, not scamming, not out there getting it the fast way. Those men have built that up through discipline, standards, time. It's not something that you can simply just, hey, you know, I demand this, and they're going to simply acquiesce. It's not like the movies. It's not like social media makes it like out the seam. I want a man at money that's going to do this. It's going to be $10,000 a month. Those men, that doesn't really exist. If a man that has the ability to give you that, to do that for you, they're going to come a load of restrictions on your type of movement, on your type of thought process, on the way you sort of move, who you hang out with, where you go, when you do all this, because that money and its importance that you place on it gives that person leverage, gives that person understanding. And as we have a larger, increasingly larger society that places more and more emphasis on money, and sometimes it's because of the economy, that's because of various reasons, that becomes that now, that thing that was just to simply hold on you becomes a stranglehold. You need that money to live your life. Therefore, you are beholden to he who gives you the money. I don't think that's a very difficult thing to understand. But sometimes you go places and try to have different type of levels of conversation with people that really aren't on that sort of level. You see that from time to time on podcasts. Before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. Still trying to do 2 a day, even though the algorithm is doing whatever it's doing. There's various reasons for that, but still. Check your notification bell so you don't miss new uploads, because we're, you know, when we go live or we schedule lives, if the notification bell is not checked on for all, you're not going to see it. And, you know, as time goes on, I'd like to see more and more of, you know, subscriber count in the lives, giving you that real time sort of back and forth feedback. So what she's saying is absolutely true. And this is, I wish we had more truisms talked about on social media, because when you have this misunderstanding that money is just available from these men, right, that you can just go and say, I demand this, I demand this. I think the undercurrent, people understand that's not true. People understand, or one, I think there's a bunch of people capping. I saw videos where people say, I fumbled a football player, I fumbled this, I fumbled a billionaire. Most billionaires are older and decrepit, or, you know, on the Epstein files. So you probably didn't come across them. And if you did, their money, the outrageousness of their money would sort of blow your mind. What people are really encountering are people just like them, people with a little bit of disposable cash that are willing to trick, willing to spend, and sort of move and shake like that. But when you come across someone that has actually done the things, and I mean by the things, let me define that, right? They've got a decent salary, 6-figure above, or they're managing it really well. They've got disposable income. They've got the retirement set up. They've got their look for the future set up. They're in control of their debt, or they have no debt. They can afford your lifestyle because your realistic lifestyle, because realistically what you need to actually live is a lot smaller than what you want to spend. So when someone has that sort of when they built that life, they understand what it takes to manage that. When you come in, you haven't happened across paths with people, you meet these people, you do not get to now say, this is how things are going to run. This is my show. This is how it is. You get in an argument with that person, he or she comes back late at 1 a.m. You're not up waiting for them, and as soon as they open the door, you're sitting there yelling and throwing things at them, telling them to get out. No, it's their place, right? It's their high rise, right? It's their house. You don't get to set the rules. Now, and I think this is a very important distinction. I think that's why we see so many people dealing with men that are less than them in terms of economic stability, in terms of income, in terms of earning potential, in terms of, well, just potential, period. There's a reason you want him at your house, because there's control there. Where there's control, there's safety. You get to tell him what you want to do. You get to tell him how things are supposed to go, while still, decrying that you want a masculine man. But we look at your history, we look at your search history, we look at your relationship history. You tend to deal with men that you're better than. You can go there and tell them what to do, what is, because you don't actually need them in your life. You are doing better than them, so their erasure from your life doesn't really do you any harm, right? You don't feel like you lost out on something because this was something simple. This was infinitesimal. This is just a guy. The reason why you date the guy that's in prison, right? That's in jail, because definitively you have better outcomes, better outlook. You like to say, I know where he is. With the prevalence of homosexuality or hyper homosexuality in prison, why would you feel like, no, this is a good place for me to meet someone? But it's about the socioeconomic difference between, it's about the power struggle, the power difference between one another. This is why you deal with men that are less than you. This is why you deal with men that have no car, that have no job, that just have, right? Now we get into what this guy was talking about, who just pay the rent with dick. This is why you deal with that. You like to sell the dream. You like to go online and tell people that men aren't men anymore. But when you accept people that you're better than, you can drop in a moment's time, you feel safe. You feel like this is how I guard my heart. Because at any time he does something I don't like, he's gone. Tell him to get out of here. Get out my place. I saw another video a while ago where a guy was saying, every time you get mad, you kick me out. She has that ability to do that because that's her place. That's her apartment. She's on the lease. You're not. This is why we always encourage men, if you're going to let her move in with you. Get a place together rather than you are moving into someone else's spot. There's a power imbalance. There's a power difference. This isn't something that is just like we're saying don't do it because we don't want you to be. No, this is just how things tend to shape up when things go wrong. We understand the truth. When women get upset, when they get emotional, when they're arguing with you, they're going to use whatever they want to use in order to hurt you. This isn't a thing about being malicious. This is a thing about understanding that when you approach things more logically versus approach things more emotional. Yeah, when you're emotional, you tend to override a lot of logical steps. Doesn't mean I'm not calling out and saying you don't love the man, but in that heat of that moment, you want him to feel how you feel, and you feel hurt, you feel betrayed, you feel angry. So you'll dig deep into that well and say, okay, what can I do to do that? If I'm not going to do something physically, I know I can bring this thing out emotionally. So yes, I think people deal with women deal with men that are less than them because it's very much easier for them to deal with. When you deal with a man that has his own, and not just has his own, but he's got barely enough to, he's got a pot to piss in, but barely more than that. No, I'm talking about a man that's actually, he genuinely does not need you in his life. It's a scary position. You do the exact opposite. You get someone that you can control. You get someone that, yeah, you and him need to get together to pay the rent, or his little thing. It's about control. It's about safety. It's about fear. It's about trauma, rather than the reality saying, I want to be with someone equally yoked or better than me. When you're with someone that is better than you, and then sometimes you come across people that leagues are better than you, that's when you hear this is kind of intimidating. I've been on dates long ago when you sit down and say, this is long, just when, invariably what comes up, hey, what do you do? And I start naming them. And it's like, I'm not meaning to show off, but these are the things I'm interested in. These are the things I've accomplished. These are the things I'm currently doing. And, I'll get that text at the end of the night. Hey, it's great meeting you. I was a little intimidated. Because Boom, 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 boom. I just played off. You know, I'm from New York. We're supposed to do multiple things, right? I'm Nigerian. You're supposed to do multiple things. This is a norm for us. But the reality is, when there's a differential, you don't get to tell that man, yo, this is what I demand. This is what it, cool. Here's my demands first. Like, let's sit down at the table and say, you want that? I think that's unreasonable. These are the things that I'm saying. When a man, this is why I always encourage men, sometimes you take a step away from dating, you take a step away from the noise, and you do the work. And it may be a 10-year process, right? This isn't a Rocky montage. You throw some catchy music on and then turn around and you're ready for the big fight with Drago. No, this is maybe a 5-10 year process of work, reworking, retooling. But when you get to the other side, now you're writing the check. So you're saying, well, I know what's out there. I've level set. I've went back to the game and said, oh, wow. This is what the competition is doing. This is what is around you. I could literally change your life, and not in a monetary sense, in a mental, in a disciplinary sense. And if you hang out with me, this is how you would rub off. This is what things we now do. That is something we don't give enough credence to. That is what the things when women say, well, what do you bring to the table? That's one of the things as men, as disciplined, stoic men, you bring that. That's part of the masculinity package that you can download for, $5,099, right? But in all seriousness, when you see this imbalance between couples, when the man got nothing going on, he could pack his things in a small suitcase or in a small plastic bag and be out there. There's safety in that. There's safety in that sort of dysfunction. But in reality, you can't do that with men that have made it. Men have taken their time to actually become something. That just doesn't work. But if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see videos on your screen right now, take a look at those. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And of course, if you listen to my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're just trying to build something dope. I'll see you in the next one.